Welcome to Wildflower. My name is Romina Rasmussen and I'm the pastry chef at Les Madeleines in Salt Lake City. Today we're going to make a baked brie and puff pastry with a raspberry sauce. So on the stove I have about a cup of raspberry puree and I'm going to add a quarter cup of sugar to it. And we're just going to bring it to a boil just long enough to dissolve the sugar. And so while that's cooking, I have a piece of puff pastry that's rolled out to about 1/8 of an inch thick. So you can absolutely use a store-bought puff pastry for this if you don't have any that you made on yourself. So I have it, it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. I'm going to put my brie kind of in the middle and I'm going to fold it over. So I have a wedge here because sometimes you buy it in a wedge and sometimes you buy a round. So if you do a round, it'll work exactly the same way. And I'm going to kind of wrap it like it's a present. And this is going to be the bottom, so I don't have to worry about it coming undone. But on this other part where I don't need that piece, I'm going to glue it with some egg wash so that I know that when it's in the oven it doesn't come undone. So I'm just going to fold it over like that and kind of pinch the corners. And this is done. It gets finished really quickly because it's just a tiny bit. So, and raspberries burn really easily, so just make sure that you stir it often or that you don't just walk away because it will burn pretty quickly. So I'm going to put it on a sheet pan with parchment paper. I like parchment paper because it makes things really easy to clean up. So I have that on there. And then I'm going to egg wash the entire thing. That way it's shiny. It'll look prettier that way when you have it on your plate. And that'll turn nice and brown in the oven. And then with the tip of a knife, I'm just going to very gently score it. I don't want to cut through the puff pastry because then you're going to end up with a big gaping hole. But this will help the puff pastry expand because that's what it does. It puffs. And I'm going to score the sides a little bit. So you're just barely touching it with the tip of your knife. If your knife isn't sharp, then maybe try to find another one because it works better with a sharp knife, just very gently. So I'm giving it spots where it can expand without exploding. So I'll put that in the oven. It's going to take about 25 minutes for that to bake and get nice and brown. You want to make sure that it's a golden color like this one, because otherwise, if it's lighter than that, chances are the dough on the inside is still going to be raw, and that's not going to be as delicious. So here I have my wedge that we've already baked, and it does shrink down a little bit. It puffed up, and you can see the scoring marks. And then we're just going to put a little bit of my raspberry sauce on the plate. You can put this in a squeeze bottle or a pitcher too, and maybe if you just want a little bit. I don't like it when you've got so much that it gets sort of soggy, and then you can just place it there. And that's how you make a puff pastry wrapped brie with raspberry sauce.